Hi, I'm Angie Pontani, the burlesque superstar who has spent the last 20 years shimmying and shaking around the globe. I've performed in showrooms, ballrooms, small rooms, and big rooms, every room except a mushroom. Along the way, I've met some amazing people, and I'd like to introduce them to you. Together, we will pull back the curtain to reveal what really happens behind the glitter, feathers, and tassels. So join me for the bump and grind. Scotty the Blue Bunny is legend, a towering figure over 7 feet tall from ears to heels. Bunny has been entertaining the crowd since the 80s. Buns, as I like to affectionately call him, built his performance persona in downtown New York City while working the club circuit and touring with the pioneering Bindlestiff family circus. His journey was drag, circus, burlesque. And once he landed on the bump and grind, he evolved into one of the most recognizable figures in the neo-burlesque renaissance. A host who can sing, dance, make you laugh, twirl a baton, or even rock out on the violin. Yes, he can rock out on the violin. Scotty can do it all. He even creates his gorgeous spandex dream costume. So as a co-worker, I love sharing stages with Scotty. He makes me laugh. He wears the truth on his face, backstage at least, and this is one of my favorite qualities in people, by the way. He never panics. He's as reliable as my mother's meatball recipe, and I was thrilled to share the airways with him on this week's Bump and Grind. Fam Jam, I am thrilled to give you the gift that is Scotty the Blue Bunny. Scotty the Blue Bunny.
Hi.
Hey, it's so
Angie,
nice to see you.
What a salve to the soul.
Oh, I like
Hi.
that. I'll take it. Likewise.
Hello.
It goes both ways. I'm so happy to see your face.
Oh, look at it.
I know. Look at that beard. It's amazing.
Yes.
Does that take a lot of caretaking? Do you have to? I mean, that's impressive.
Well, I don't have so much fun with my forehead anymore, so I started to grow out my chin.
I like it. But you have maintained a glorious shape. And I know that's not easy to do.
No, I have. Well, I've recently come off combs and creams and oils and butters and all that crazy stuff. So I've just said I've had it, and I've just simplified my routine. So thank you very much, but this is natural.
I like it.
Yeah.
And so when the world reopens and the bunny's back on stage, is the Blue Bunny going to have this big old beard?
Blue Bunny's gonna have this big old beard.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I actually successfully aged my I did it for myself. I was, I always wore those super crazy high heels.
Yes.
And it just ran down. The clock ran down on that, and I thought, okay, stage of life, something. I know it's already a bunny suit. I know it's already a person in a bunny suit, but I was like, the high heels are weird now.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I know. The high heels were always perfect. They fit, never question them, always shopping for them, buying them. But then all of a sudden I was like, I don't know, 53.
J-Lo's doing it. J-Lo is doing it.
Yeah. I thought I would just bust it out. I thought I would see if I could transition my club creature, for almost 25 years.
To a bit of an elder. Yeah. So is he wearing orthopedics? What's happening?
I know.
A wedge? We could do a wedge?
I don't know. Well, I got some very nice shoes made in Italy. Some custom-made shoes in Italy. I have blue velvet slip-in shoes, and each shoe is embroidered with a bee.
Okay.
For Blue Bunny. So those
Is it a loafer? Is it like the loafer? My dad has them. My dad wears those. Yeah.
Of course, they're from Italy.
Yeah.
I would imagine he has a pair.
Yes, they're luxurious. Okay. Well, even if you're not in high heels, you're still going to be a towering bunny. I mean,
I know. But there are some times when I'm in my bunny suit at an event, and I'm just bouncing around in my bunny suit, and I'm like, it's not the same. It's not the same.
In
but
your
what
loafer.
Well, what happened was I was backstage at a show in Edinburgh 2 years ago, and I always had a pair of backstage shoes, some
Of
slippers that I
course.
could run
Yes.
around the tent and into the dressing room and get my get my stuff. And I was in position, ready to go on. And I looked down, and there were my stupid slippers on. I had forgotten. I had just gotten so used to having these shoes on that I forgot to put my high heels back on. And I turned to the stage manager and I was like, Michael, my shoes. And everybody ran, and they were in my dressing room and blah, 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 running. And then he ran back with them, and I was like, it's too late. And I just had to go on, and I went with it. I was bouncing and jumping and running around. And I thought, okay.
Okay. Would it be cannibalistic if you wore bunny slippers? Would that be cannibalistic? It's an option.
I've never really been into pajamas.
I mean,
I don't know,
it could
Angie.
be cute.
Angie, listen, I have a very strange aversion. I know I'm about to admit things because it's you, and I know you a long time.
Oh, tell me.
I don't know. I have an aversion to bunny things. You know, I kind of have to be the only. I'm sorry. I kind of have to be like the only bunny thing. So bunny. I don't know. If I was going to do bunny slippers, I would want
They
bunny
might compete
epaulets.
with you. Yeah, yeah.
Just cover me in bunny shit then.
It's something to think about. And so while we talk about the bunny and the evolution of the bunny, let's talk about how the bunny came to be. When you were growing up, a young boy in New York, did you like bunnies? Were you like, bunny?
I will tell you the story, and I will tell the story so it has been told for all time.
Yes.
And if you remember, sweet child, if you remember, late 80s, from like 1985 on, there was in the nightclubs, there was a heavy traffic between like tattooers and circus freaks and drag queens and club kids. And I had the good fortune of living across the street from Stephanie Monsa, who was the foundress of the Biddlestiff Family Circus.
Oh, wow.
And I was doing drag at the time. I was stand outside the Pyramid Club for Gloria Wholesome's Sunday night party, Original Sin. And I would stand outside in drag, we call it, but it really was. I mean, as much as I look, it was funny, but it wasn't drag. It was trying.
What was it? What was it? Like what? What were you wearing? A Laura Ashley dress? It was the late 80s.
I was mess. I was a mess. I was a mess queen, I guess you would call it. And I would stand out there and I would try to get people in. I would try to get people into the club on a Sunday night, $5.
Wow.
And Baby D, who used to ride her tricycle dressed like a cat with angel wings with a harp on the back. Remember that in Tompkins Square Park, maybe?
Wow.
I don't know. So we were in the Biddlestiff Family Circus together, and I was experimenting a lot with clowns. This is before Buns, before Bunny.
This is before the burlesque revival even really started to pick up steam. If you're in the late 80s, nobody was even whispering that word, really.
Right. I'm going to tell you the tale. I'm telling you the story as it has never been told in one piece. I'm
Tell
almost
the
there.
tale. Go.
I'm almost at the crotch. So Baby D and we would hang out, and I was a performance poet at the time.
Oh.
Yes, and I used to read at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe.
Oh.
And I wrote thank you. And I wrote a poem about about drag and comparing drag to how the founding fathers, like masculinity, and how the founding fathers with their powdered wigs and their feather quills and their beautiful little heeled shoes and stuff. So then I read the poem once at a slam in drag. And it went over. And that's how I was born, Scotty. I kept my name, but I just was in drag. So then one day after a circus, I was like, what do I do? What can I be? This one's the glass eater. This one is the Like Stephanie invited me to do a circus at the Collective Unconscious. Yeah, on the Lower East Side, and that's when I met Combustible Kiva from the Coney Island sideshow at the seashore. I met all those cats, Jennifer Miller eating a light bulb, like all these people, and I thought, why am I putting on eyelashes when these people are eating light bulbs, blowing fire, walking on swords, smacking a rose in half with a whip from 10 feet away? And I had made this big fun fur dress for a poetry reading, and I didn't have time to rehearse in the dress. And if you wear a floor-length gown made of plastic, your shoes are going to be filled with sweat. Yes, Queen. It was so bad. So I did my poetry performance at some bar in the East Village, and after it was over, I was drenched underneath. So I, of course, had the sensible thought to cut the dress right below my balls for a little bit of airflow. And I thought, well, what will I do with the rest of this blue fun fur fabric? And I thought, I'll make bunny ears and a tail. And I'll have like a Flintstones bunny terrible drag outfit. And then Baby D said to me, why don't you be the bunny? And I said, the bunny? I don't want to be the bunny. Still going back to this thing where people were, I'm the contortionist, I'm the juggler, I'm the magician. I was like, what should I be in the circus? And she said, why don't you be the bunny? And I said, I don't want to be a bunny. You know, it's too much. Bugs Bunny, blah, blah, blah. She said, not a bunny, the bunny. Yes. Why don't you be the bunny in the circus? And I was like, sold. And that was it. I just took it from there because we worked together at Gloria Wholesome and I wore the big fuzzy bunny outfit out on the street. And people were like, hey, bunny. So that's it, Baby D.
That's amazing.
She did it. Yeah, and then then Combustible Kiva made my first one of my first bunny costumes that I wore. And then I just stopped with the drag and the eyelashes and the shaving my arms and $500 worth of makeup to try and cover up my beard, which I get to fully sport now. So
yes. How did you come up with like the content of the bunny's act and the content of the bunny's character and his attitude? And I mean, how did you build? Because okay, you're a bunny, but what does a bunny do?
A, drink a lot. B, here's the deal. So I was touring with the Biddlestiff Family Circus. 1996 was the first tour down south and back up. And when I came back to New York, I think Dutch Weissman's was going on.
Yeah.
And then I remember I came back from tour 98. Forgive me. You know, I'm old.
Understand.
I get to claim.
You could just say late 90s.
Right. And then because I had worked at this club called Shine.
Yes.
On Bowery and Broadway.
Which is where we met. I believe that we met at Shine. We met backstage at Shine. Mm-hmm.
That story.
Yes.
And we'll get to that. But when I started coming back from tours with the circus, there were these little varietés that started to open up, and it was Dutch Weissman's. And my friend Shelley Baum was talking to me about Dutch Weissman's, and then Mindy Kaye and all the people. And then, your East Village crew of plastic flowers in your hair, let's go roller skating people. And and then... yeah, so I would go with tour and come back, and then there was like the variety show at Shine, and then Dutch Weissman's, and then Slipper Room, and then James was like, hey, can you come down and start hosting? And then that whole thing took off. But let's not forget, also at that time was a great party called Trip and Go Naked with Otter, the legendary Otter.
Oh my God.
So I had a crush on Keith. I'm admitting something now.
Oh, I love it. This is a tell-all.
I had a crush on Keith from the Biddlestiffs, and I said, teach me how to eat fire because, I wanted to do a political statement on fire eating because I'm a flaming faggot, and I just wanted to let me take that title, honey, and eat some fire. So I was like, he always wanted to teach me how to juggle. And I was like, I want to eat fire.
Of course you do.
So in true circus fashion, he said, carry my shit to my gig. I was like, okay.
Anything for you.
And guess where we went?
Where?
The Blue Angel.
Aha, yes.
Of course. So I will never forget following Keith, walking down the stairs into the Blue Angel and being like, mind blown. Mind blown. But then Otter had a party called Trip and Go Naked at the Pyramid Club with belly dancing, fire eating, flambeau fire was there.
Yes.
Everybody was there. Keith was there, sword twirling, and Otter hosted the show. She just walked out naked with devil horns, little blinky devil horns pulling pearls out of her. And so that's what I would say. That's how the bunny started.
Yeah. Well, everything, it kind of just, the scene like just grew up around you and you were so primed for it. But I remember I met you were hosting the show at Shine, which was so funny because Shine was like a nightclub that was a bit like do, you know, and yet they would put on these shows that really had that downtown spirit. And I remember you would be eating fire on the side of the stage and just controlling the flow of the show. I mean, you were hosting it, but it wasn't like a variety show like, hey, everybody, I'm talking to you, blah, blah, blah. It was like act here, act there, act here, act there.
Interruption format.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Spectacle format. Yeah. But also there was also like Stuart, these crazy guys were hosting, Stuart and Dominic Giannese.
Oh my God, Dominic. I forgot about Dominic.
Yeah, she might be listening. Yeah, he was there. And like De La Soul would hang out there and Fun Loving Criminals were regular. So it was a real, and then, you know, Shelley Baum, who was like one of the club kids from the Limelight days, who did that Absolute Bomb. She had when Absolute Vodka was exploiting club children and making them like absolute whatever. So she would show up and she had an act, it was called Wind Shiva. You know, and we were trying to run a tight ship, you know, everything's done by 2, and she would always come super late. But beautiful. No one could get mad at her. She would take forever to set up, and she would ohm the shit out of that nightclub. She would have beautiful diaphanous fabric all over the thing. She took a bar stool, she draped fabric over it. She needed a fan. You know how it is. You walk with a garbage bag and a box fan, you know, and like,
and you make magic. Oh no, Shelly used to send me on gigs all the time. She had me working for Absolute, Camel cigarettes. She would dress me up and I would go to different clubs. I love Shelly.
Yeah, so she had this act called Wind Shiva, and really it just amounted to her sitting there smiling while the breeze just took off little piece by little piece to this like Ibiza sunset techno chill down mix, you know, and this was the last thing people saw during the night, and it was just like, and then everything went back in a garbage bag, you know,
shoved it in your closet.
Yeah, but that was that's where it all. Yeah, I owe it all to the circus, you know.
And how did you get in with the circus in the first place, though? I mean, how did you fall in with Bingle Steph?
Well, Stephanie lived across the street from me in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and she had broken her arm in a skiing accident and had gotten locked out and knocked on my door to use my phone. And then, by the way, do you want to be in a circus? Because we had seen each other out in the nightclubs a little bit. So, you know, Click and Drag, Mother.
Oh my God, Click and Drag.
Yeah, so it's just like, that's where all the fun, that's where we were just hanging out. And I have to say, like, I don't know, I just started dressing up. I just started doing it. I started dressing up to get into nightclubs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, that was what you did back then. That was such a fun time. There was so much good stuff that was going on. But what was your training in life to prepare you for these moments? Like, obviously, you just, you know, you have that where you'll just do it. You're like a just do it kind of person. But clearly you have some training in what? Like improv, theater, music, dance, something. You didn't go to school and then go to college and study science, did you?
I'm a homosexual. That's
Okay,
where all
that's
the
all it
talent
takes?
lies. No. I mean, I did have training for my for music, for violin and piano. So I did play in some orchestras and stuff, some suburban. I grew up in Rockland County, 40 minutes outside the city. And so I did have some training, let's say, in arts performance, and I was always creative, but I went to school for arts administration. I just did whatever I could to get out of my house and get into New York City.
Yeah.
My only goal in life was to up my chances of running into Debbie Harry and Chris Stein in the street, and be like, "What's up, guys? It's me."
Hey,
Scotty, your fan, whatever.
Did your parents take you to New York a lot, like into the city when you were a kid? Because I know that, I was in Jersey, the same thing, about an hour away. And we would come in and we would go see a Broadway show and we would go out to eat. And it was like, ooh.
My mom had a kind of a ritual with me where every year for my birthday, we would go see a Broadway or an off-Broadway show. So the first show I ever saw in a New York City stage was Doug Henning, The Magic Show, with levitating ladies. And yeah, sure, kid.
That's amazing.
And we used to go eat at Mama Leone's.
Yes, of course.
Before, where they would have the Italian, because in winter it was Carnival, festival, whatever. So I would just be like, ugh. Like, it's very funny. I think about it now that when I was a kid, I went to restaurants where people I grew up to know probably would have worked.
Yeah.
Like you probably would have worked at Mama Leone's, and because they
Definitely.
they would bring out your veal parmesan, and then all of a sudden there would be a dancing girl through the restaurant doing music, and they would be like, "It's your birthday?" Like, I'm 9. Don't terrorize me.
Oh, that's interesting. You didn't want to be terrorized. I've seen you terrorize. You took that, you've compartmentalized it, and now you terrorize.
But I went to I saw Doug Henning, The Magic Show. I saw Mummenschanz. Remember those big, weird, mimey puppets with toilet paper mouths and some crazy puppet show from Germany?
I don't remember that. I
went to the opera, saw the Masked Ball.
Oh.
And yeah, so there was that thing. And then I was in the Blondie fan club, and Chris Stein had I had the membership card. I had the keychain. I had everything, posters on the wall. Made my family watch, I remember making my family watch Solid Gold.
Yes.
On the kitchen TV when Debbie Harry was on Stoned singing "The Tide is High." And I was just sitting there like in the closet,
What draws you to Debbie Harry? What do you think it was about her that you love so much?
Excuse me?
I know why I love her. I just want to hear it come out of your mouth.
Come on, that giant head, the beautiful head, the blonde hair, the lips, the sound, the whole thing. That was my jam.
Well, she's also like glam and punk rock and kick ass. So it's like she takes that femininity, but she's also just such a badass,
A difficult woman. The night was made for difficult women, and so am I.
Did you ever meet her? Have you ever achieved this dream?
I did, because you know how it is. Sometimes you get a gig, and I did a New Year's Eve gig at Bryant Park or Central Park. They had a big New Year's Eve party in a tent, those.
Yeah.
Putting on your high heels on AstroTurf so you don't ruin the real grass. Dun, dun,
So many
dun, 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 dun.
challenges.
And we shared a dressing room we didn't share a dressing room, but Debbie Harry had the next tent box. Debbie Harry and the Jazz Passengers had the next tent to us. So yeah, I did walk in there spiral-eyed with my bunny outfit on. She was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "I just want to tell you I've been a big fan of yours my whole life." And I ran away. That was it. She was like, thank you. I was like, you're welcome. Bye.
In your whole outfit with your giant heels and your bunny ears and your spandex.
And then in the next, right. And then the next 10 over is like Jill and Amanda, the Schlangen mentioned, who were like burner styled contortionist duos. Like they're stretching. They're like, how was it? You know, with their foot next to their head. Like how'd it go with goggles on and a leopard print spandex leotard, you know, getting ready to do their partner acrobatics. You know, how'd it go? What did she say? She said, thank you. So exciting. You know?
Oh, I wish you got a picture.
I tried, but I just was such a fumbling mess. You know, everybody has their celebrity, so she's mine.
No, and she's a really good one. She's pretty badass. So you start to, like, you're doing Shine and you're doing these appearances and other shows. I forgot how much circus you did, and you always have gone between so many worlds with your performance. But, like, so as these burlesque shows start to pop up and become so popular, and you're just sole hosting them, how did you build out your character? And, like, how did the bunny enter? Because I feel like you couldn't have just stepped on stage and been the bunny. Even though I feel like you are the bunny. I think you're the bunny. But how did the bunny fill in to start hosting these shows where you had to fill time slots and you said, oh, I'm going to play my violin. I'm going to sing this song. Like, how did you get there?
Because I was in the circus.
Where you could do anything.
Where you could do anything. And there would be times when I had to fill in announcing or ballying there. And that's the other thing that happened was by the time I came back to New York, I just remember that all of a sudden there was a great demand for hosts with acts.
Yeah.
Not just, sorry to say, but just like, you know, the straight dude saying, did you like that? No? Well, look at this, you know, or just stand-up comedy. You had to like perform, you know?
Definitely.
And I had that. I had my magic act. I had my song that I did. I had my stupid little, you know, I was the bunny, little things that I would do to earring on the other acts or different ways of, you know, even when you come on to clear the bed of nails from the act, you kind of build an act around these transitions.
For sure.
So that kind of like added into the whole, you know, that had added into the whole idea of the show. But also, let's not forget that at that time was also like Murray Hill was really coming out of the gate at that time, and Penelope Tuesday was there. And then Rafifi at Starshine.
Yeah.
And all of this was happening while the Blue Angel was still kind of happening. So we had a whole kind of really diverse scene, I think.
Oh, for sure.
The people that were coming and going in and out of that were real personalities.
Oh, absolutely. I remember the Pontani sisters were working so much at that time, and we would be like at Marion's or Barmacy or wherever, and we would be like driving around in our minivan, and we'd be like, there's Scotty on his bike.
Yeah.
And you would be riding from one show to the other. There was so much.
Right. And don't forget that Marion's was like putting on shows.
Yeah.
Like little cabaret shows. So Justin Bond and all that stuff was happening.
Yeah, it was happening all around.
That was the Lower East Side. And then we were all hanging out at Vasilka's or 7A eating.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
you have such a good memory, Scotty.
Listen.
It's amazing.
Well, that's the truth. Like, sometimes I think about it. I'm like, you know, I've seen things these kids have never seen. I'm not channeling Satan's angel.
Right. No one, she'll kick your ass.
But when I think about, like, I mean, who shall I call up from the time gone by? One of my favorite stories is Miss Elise I don't know if if anybody out there remembers Miss Elise from the Slipper Room. She was a real call girl.
Ooh.
She had beautiful breasts. Every move she made, her tassels were just bounce around. And one time she called me up and she said, Scotty, it's Miss Elise. I'm going to be late tonight, but my driver will come by earlier with my donut. And I was like, your what? She said, my donut. I said, okay. And we're at the Slipper Room and we're getting ready. And this is back when it was on the first floor. You could touch the ceiling.
Yes.
If I had my high heels on, I could touch the ceiling. And we're setting up and all of a sudden this big hulking guy walks through the door in a suit. And he's like, yo, is Scotty here? And I was like, hi, it's me. And he's like, I got Miss Elise's donut. And I was like, what is this thing?
What is it?
Exactly. And he's got this big round bag and he's just rolling it in. And I take it and I roll it back. And then she comes in and she gets it ready. Blonde hair, beautiful long fingernails, bazooms from the heavens, the whole thing. Just such a sweet, sweet girl. And then it was a giant foam chocolate frosted donut.
Wow.
Life size. Yeah.
Adorable.
With sprinkles on it. And she would her whole act was just stripping, like boring, but so boring. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Just like a Ming vase behind glass at the Museum of Art, like, wow. It's not doing anything, but it's totally captivating, right? Zen. And she would get in the donut. And as she got in the donut, she was making all these crazy little jerky moves and close the curtain. Later, I say, Miss Elise, what is up with your movement when you get in the donut? She said, oh, all of the chocolate sprinkles on my donut are made from tiny cut pieces of fiberglass.
What?
So every time I get in the donut, they cut me just a little. That was what I was dealing with. You know what I mean?
What? But that sounds to me like one of those props that might not be worth the injury.
I know, but the whole build up to getting to this moment on stage, from the phone call from my driver to like, I'll be back later. I will come in late and get in my donut, and it's cut fiberglass. And I'm like, and just a sweet little baby smile with these beautiful breasts with pasties that are in full swing. Like, oh, because every time I get in it, it cuts me just a little. I'm like,
oh
wow.
my goodness. Yeah, no.
Wow. Miss Elise.
Olden times. I don't remember Miss Elise. Like, it sounds familiar, but I don't remember. But I'm going to go down a Google K-hole later and try to find her.
Yeah, I don't think she was. I think, I don't know where she came from, but it's like, then there was Rill, who was the first person I saw go upside down and do all those twerk moves upside down. Yeah. But this is like 1990. Then there was Betty Spaghetti, who used to put on 6 nipples and come onto stage with just cat meowing, meow, meow. And she had a baking pan that was her litter box.
I love it.
And she had spaghetti in the litter box and she would meow, dance around, super dance around like nothing, but not really, just like meow, cat hands. And then she would take a pee in the spaghetti and throw it into the audience.
No, not a real pee.
And I had to stand there in my bunny suit and be like, Betty Spaghetti, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. The curtain would close on the cat lady act and the bunny would come out and be like, we're going to take a short break.
And you're like, I'm just going to twirl my baton and try to help you forget that you just had spaghetti pee thrown at you.
Yeah. But yeah, it was all about the being in the circus. I had to learn some other things, juggling, playing my instrument. I walked on a ball for a time. I could do we would go to curfew towns on the highway in Illinois, and I would be introduced as I would take my bunny outfit on, put on a super spangly skirt, and I would be Scotty the Flaming Faggot.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, of course. And I would be I would do, and also there were great moments in my life, like Dick Zigun brought back the Tears' wine bath.
Yeah, in Coney Island.
Right, and the Bindlestiff Family Circus was supposed to host it, but Stephanie and Keith had gotten a gig and they couldn't be there, so it was me and Dr. Ducky Doolittle.
Oh my God, Dr. Ducky Doolittle!
I'm telling you, I have legacy. So Dr.
Yes.
Ducky Doolittle was there, and I did the Teresa's wine bath. I came out with a gallon of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
It burns. It burns when you get in that bath. It burns.
Exactly. And I got a aluminum wash tub.
Ooh.
And I had painted it white, and I had stenciled little seashells around the outside.
That sounds like a high wig. Production.
Yeah. And I never showed my back. I just walked onto the stage, did my little dance, poured the 5 gallons of Ernest and Julio Gallo down my back, and walked off.
Oh my God. I've taken a couple of those wine baths myself. There came a point where I was like, I don't think I could do it anymore because it really does hurt and you really smell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, to go back to your question, was I had developed a lot of act and gimmicky crap with the circus. And at that time also, the Bindlestiff Family Circus was doing every Wednesday night for $3. You could go to the Brooklyn Brewery on North 11th in Williamsburg. And we would sell $3, and we would fill their giant warehouse, concrete floor. We were roller skating, but that's where I met Jennifer Miller and Hovey Burgess and all these circus people who would come in and out of town. And so I was like, yeah, 3 balls. Okay.
Anything. Well, I mean, it's like, I think too, like, especially in those early days, obviously it was circus, but even like with the burlesque shows, especially going on the road, it's like, how many people can you take? You want to take as little as possible, but you want to have an entertaining show. So it's like, everybody has to wear multiple hats. And it's like, I feel like in the olden days, I remember we would do shows and the minute the show started till it ended, nobody stopped moving. Now I feel like so many shows I do one number, I sit down for an hour, and then I do another one. I miss those old days of just like sweating backstage, like, get ready. Now you're in this, and now you're in that, and now you're in this, and now you're in that. Like, and you learn, you get chops.
Well, Stephanie was like that. The Philomena Bindlestiff, she really was like, every freaking act was a whole new costume. You know, like this whole idea of telling a person, you're asking a person you're in a show with while the show is happening, saying, I'm not ready. Oh. Like that whole thing is training for life, because you gotta take your fucking ass out there in your bunny suit and go for another 2 minutes. Are we ready? We're not ready. All right. You know?
Yeah. No, that's where it's at. And like, how did you, like, traveling around, doing all these shows, wearing so many hats, when you're in like Illinois, in a little town, like, how do people react to the Blue Bunny? Because New York's New York. It's always New York. Blue Bunny in the Midwest, Blue Bunny in the Deep South. What's that vibe?
Well, we were protested once. We did lose a show once. And that was fine, because then we ended up we had some tomfoolery who was touring with us, was part of the Radical Fairy Camp in Tennessee. So we lost one show, and then they were having their big annual gathering. And then I ended up actually looking at rural queers. We ended up going to the Sanctuary, Short Mountain and Ida, in Nashville, just outside Nashville, Tennessee. I never thought I would drive 10 miles up the side of a mountain in Tennessee to see naked men with flowers in their hair, drinking mushroom tincture and whatever. Yeah. At that time also was the Jim Rose Circus Side show, and Chicken John's also had a show. So there were a couple of shows also out on the road. Sometimes we would cross paths and come to shows and see their posters from the week before. So as strange as it sounds, like even when we ended up in Utah, the people who were coming to our show were looking for affirmation. I mean, these people were tattooed to the knuckles. They had a dinner plate in their ears. Like, I mean, I've been looking at body mods on white people since 1987. Like,
No, so that was like a breath of fresh air for them. That must have been amazing.
yeah, when we pulled in all smelly from being in a van.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with, you know, with all the changing acts, and we would have local acts, and, you know, people would guess and they would sit in, and there were legends that were, you know, just like burlesque. You go through town, you're like, oh, who lives here? Tiffany Carter, she lives here. Let's call that lady up. Whatever. So there were also like, that's how I got to Exotic World.
Really?
That's how I got to Exotic World, in the back of the Biddleston Family Circus van.
And was that when it was out in Hellendale's first?
It was, and it was, and I had I mean, that is really a story that shows the gap of when it was starting, because I had no idea where I was.
Mm-hmm. You just pulled up to those gates in the middle of the desert.
Stephanie was driving, and we were on our way somewhere, and she said, we're gonna make a stop, because every now and then we would take a detour, and we would end up at like some strange olive store on a highway in Indiana with like the olive pit, and it would be the biggest replica olive in the world.
So fun.
So we would end up at these Americana things. And so I remember Stephanie telling us, we're not going direct. We're going to take a little detour, but I'm not telling you where we're going. And then I remember we got there at midnight. And Stephanie said, we're here, wake up. And I picked my head up from the back of the van. And I remember looking out the window and seeing nothing. And then all of a sudden, this chintzy, mirrored Greek column coming out of the darkness. And it said like Tempest Storm. And I'm like, what is this? And then the other one across the street said, you know, give me another name.
Blaze Star, Dixie Evans.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you know, when you entered the property, there were these Doric columns with the names of the people. And I was like, what is this? And then she said, and then Keith woke up and he said, what are we supposed to do? And then Stephanie said, I don't know. She said, just honk 3 times and she'll come out. And Stephanie laid on the horn. She was like, burr, burr, burr. And then Dixie came out and the guy came out, and we got like this midnight guided tour of the whole museum. And that's how there is a little bunny postcard that I used to sell as merch. And that's how that ended up in the museum collection, because we went through and we had this midnight showing of all the pictures and the feathers when it was but we didn't see anything. Like, you couldn't see the pool, you couldn't see the property. So we were just inside. Then we just took off. And I had no idea. I really had no idea where I had just been. Yeah,
that's kind of a shocking place to land at midnight, and then to walk in on Dixie and Charlie. Like, what was your takeaway from Dixie? Like, what were you enamored?
When you get to be a certain age, it's perfectly fine if people think you're weird. She would do this thing where she would say, and over here is our collection of postcards, because, you know, you just got to take a nice photograph. She would go in and out of her like character voice. And I really like that schizophrenic presentation style. So I think the older you get, the more you can just let all those things. But that was it. And then we left. And then I was like, oh, that's Burlesque Hall of Fame. That's where the competition is. Oh.
That's crazy.
Of course.
That's so amazing.
Back on the highway with our van with the bed of nails and a big trailer painted Biddleston Family Circus. So yeah.
That's so cool.
Dixie Evans. And who was the dude?
His name was Charlie. He was Jenny Lee's husband. So Jenny Lee started the museum, the Hall of Fame, and then she passed away, and Dixie was out there with Charlie.
So that was my memory of waking up from the bump in the road from that long driveway onto the property and seeing these sparkly Greek columns, and then out comes, Dixie Evans, and I'm like, what the hell am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to go to the next town. These people in the circus, they keep taking me to. Yesterday was the olive shop. Now I got this lady here with this feather boa,
And
this
tomorrow is
beat
going
up
to be the
feather.
cheese curd museum. But do you miss those days? Like, because we did the same thing, and we would stop at all these like the biggest pie, like the ball of
Right.
twine, like a snake pit, tigers,
Or watch your car. Yeah, watch your car roll uphill.
Yeah, but
The gravity spot.
it's fun. Do you miss that? I mean, because I miss it, but I also think it was exhausting. You don't miss it?
I think that I definitely met some people who showed me some hardcore life skills.
Yeah, and you saw the whole country like multiple times in a way that few people get to see it.
Darling, the country saw me.
Yeah.
See, that was a Dixie Evans. See, that's what she would do.
And
no,
look,
honey, it's that the country saw me.
Baby,
Yes.
you are well on your way.
I
mean, your character is evolving. You've got velveteen slippers and you're slipping in and out of different voices. It's happening.
Hey, look, listen, you think you know who you are right now, but that will change.
No.
And I really had to, I'll be 54 this year. And I thought, all right, kid, listen, how do you want to play this out? How do you want to play out going into your 50s as a performer? How do you want to do that? You are Scotty the Blue Bunny. Great. Awesome. Your back is killing you from wearing these high heels, Plus, I had broken my ankle 100 years ago, and they was like, oh, you'll get a little arthritis when it's over. Like, Angie, excuse me, but no. I can't walk. I can't walk in the heels.
No.
Like, I got the one dead leg that like,
no,
I can't. So I thought, all right, I don't want to give it up.
But you have to accept change in your evolution. And I think that one of the hardest things is just convincing yourself that that's okay, because you cling to something and work so hard for this character for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I thought I can put that whole battle down of creams and dyes, and I can grow my beard and put on some flat shoes and maybe a frilly collar around my neck and some rhinestones, and I can transition gracefully rather than just be like, oh, I can't do it anymore because my knees hurt.
Right. But also, if you're totally uncomfortable, aren't you then going to give kind of like a crappy performance if you're just hobbling on stage and you're like, I just got to get off?
Yeah. Yeah, but also it's just that age was something, I mean, I just couldn't hold it back. Like I really had this feeling in my body that I was like, I need to let my age come out. I can't keep it back with, waxing the brows and dyeing my eyelashes and shaving my face and putting the makeup on. I was like,
it's exhausting.
I don't, and maybe it is a male privilege or whatever, but I was like, I'm just gonna grow out my eyebrows, my nose hair, this beard, my arm hair. I got spots on my hands. I got gray pubic hair.
No!
That's it. I know, but that's it. That's it. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
I will not be growing out my nose hair, eyebrows, or mustache.
I shaved it back. No, I shaved it. I shaved it back, but I really had to look at myself and be like, okay, let's be who we are. There was something about the high heels, this whole feminized, there's nothing wrong about being feminine. Please don't mistake me. But it just was, I would wear the shoes. The shoes were the things I kept from my drag days.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the definite symbol of queerness. Not that the skin tight bunny outfit didn't have merits on its own, but the high heels would really, when you were talking about traveling around to small towns, like the high heels were really a symbol for people to hang on to.
Sure.
And also it was just so when I walked out on stage, they were like, yes, like it just had this power. So it just took a time, but my whole way of relating with the world, that whole way of relating with the world with the heels and the sassy walk and the way they deform your walk and your body language, like I couldn't do it anymore. I was an old man in a bunny suit and high heels. I'm like, I don't know.
Right. But I mean, don't you feel that the rebellion of the bunny in high heels and the rebellion of the bunny in the loafers is kind of the same statement? You're stepping up against a norm or an expectation and owning yourself and putting that ownership out there. So you own those velveteen slippers.
Yes. And also I have the top shelf of my closet is loaded with pleasers in every heel height and color and glitter accent.
Yes.
And they shall be mine till I die.
Mm-hmm.
When people say, whose are those? I'll say they're mine.
Yes. I love it.
And then I thought, well, I'll keep the shoes around. Just in case I feel like doing a photo shoot, I can crawl around. Yeah.
Totally. It's too much. But do you think, like, with that evolution, the bunny costume, first of all, you learned how to sew so you could make your own costumes? That's insanity. Because your costumes are beautifully made.
Took a while.
It's hard.
Took a while. I watched Combustible Kiva. She sewed my first bunny outfit. It was just a top and a tail, and I would wear maternity hose that I would buy at the Sock Man on St. Mark's Place.
The Sock Man. Oh my God, the Sock Man.
He would have $10 maternity hose, and I would buy those as my legs. And I had club shoes that I had Lushwinis that I bought not from Pat Fields. What was the crazy shoe store with the platform shoes on 8th Street?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I bought so many shoes there.
Yeah, so I would do that. And I watched her make my outfit like a hawk.
Amazing.
And then I was like, but the thing is that I was around other makers. Like everybody in the circus made their costumes or paid a lot of money and got beautiful costumes made. So it really was like not out of the ordinary to be sewing.
Yeah, but you're so good at it. You're so good at it.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, it's basically a sock that goes over my shoulders. So if you made a sock that went over your shoulders, people would say you can sew really good too.
I can't listen. I can sew. I made my sister's wedding dress when she got married at City Hall. Like, I can sew. It was a vintage pattern, but I can sew. I cannot sew spandex. I cannot. My brain and spandex are two things that don't. You give me a nice cotton, you give me a twill, you give me a structured flat fabric, I can rock it. Stretch.
Should that be the title of my autobiography?
What?
Zigzag Stitch.
Yes.
Zigzag Stitch. My life in spandex.
Yes, I think it should. Write it down.
Life in spandex.
Write it down.
Scotty the Blue Bunny. Well, I even started moving out of the spandex, and I had a beautiful classic clown style suit made, and that's it. I just felt like I wanted my costume to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I just wanted more and more costume, and stepping out of the high heels into a flat shoe. I'm sorry, everybody. I really am.
It's okay.
Stepping out of the high heels into a flat shoe opened up these other possibilities of really classical styled costuming.
Yeah.
And then I started in with the oversized bow that I would wear. So
I like mixing those. Well, you got to keep it fresh and exciting for yourself. Would you ever change your color palette?
I change it on Halloween. On Halloween, I turn red.
Ooh.
Yes, and because I got really stoned one time. I got really stoned like 3 years ago, and I said on the exhale, I said to my friend, I said, I need a costume for Halloween. And then like that whole stone thing where I was like, I'm going to turn red. And my friend said, my German friend, with the German thing was like, how will anyone recognize you?
Oh, yeah.
Total stone conversation. And then I did it. I just made this red bunny suit. And I had checked into a Halloween event, and someone said, "Oh, you're coming. That's great." And I said, "You'll have trouble finding me." And then I walked in the door, and they were like, "Scotty." And I said, "How did you know it was me?" Just because it was a red bunny outfit. I was like, "Oh."
Oh no, dreams dashed.
Yes, but this year I thought, oh, I should turn red from October to Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's a nice
On
change.
October, yeah, on October 31st, I thought, what if I could do red for a whole season?
Mm-hmm.
So I would, because I do the red bunny for Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's Day.
I like that.
To me, that was permissible. It was
Yeah.
allowed.
Yeah, of course it
That,
is.
yeah.
Anything's
And
allowed.
I did have a fantasy. I did have a fantasy of turning yellow for Easter.
That would be fun.
Little pea.
Yeah.
Little
Oh,
pee pee bunny.
could go with some
Pee
nice
pee bunny.
pastels. PP Bunny. That could be your Easter character. I think one thing that I think that with you that I know we've talked about it before and you've talked about it before, like the bunny he's adorable and lovable. I think he's got like got a little bit of the rabies on stage too. This bunny has claws. But I think the audience perception of the bunny is that there's something about you that's accessible. And so I know you've spoken about this, like how a lot of times women in the audience specifically will feel that they have license to touch you and grab you and squeeze your bunny tail and squeeze your bunny buns and, go to take that picture and just get like a little too close. What do you think gives them that permission in their minds to do that?
I don't know. And it's always been, now I just have to be a good dog and leave
Mm-hmm.
those situations because they're not teachable moments.
Right.
And I don't know what it says about men. I don't know what it says about women. I don't know what it says about internalized misogyny or I don't know what it really says about like all the concepts, now I just say when people do it, I just say, don't touch the art. Haven't you ever been to a museum before?
I like that.
Like, don't touch the art. But there have been times when I have been completely aggressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I have learned that I just need to leave. Like I have had to be protected. I've had my balls grabbed and squeezed,
Ugh.
Just people really, and it is always women.
Yeah.
So I would like to think that there would be a better way to get revenge than for women to take it out on gay men. And I really don't want to construct that,
Yeah.
But that's been the realities. I mean, even in the middle of an expensive ticketed show with the spotlight on me, in the middle of a Jimmy Durante song, I have had a woman's hand in between my legs. Like if I came out as a sexy stripper, I might understand losing control, but I'm the fat old gay guy in the bunny suit. Really, a hand, I never forget it. And like going outside and trying to take pictures after, and then feeling a hand shoot through my legs, grab my balls, shake them around, and then I turn around and there is a crazy woman. Got you, bunny. I got you, bunny. So I sympathize with anyone who gets aggressed that way.
Yeah,
so wearing flat shoes also made it easier for me to run.
Escapes.
So,
I think that there's a thing though. You go out after the show, people have a couple drinks, they're totally loose and they feel an accessibility. And I mean, even as a woman, I feel that other men, I think they sometimes want to be a little more careful, but women, I think, can often have a couple drinks and feel like a free license to, grab a butt, grab a boob, pat a head, and it's just real close. I mean,
honestly, I have to say that when it happens to me, I try to remember times when I've been wasted and maybe world famous Bob walked in backstage. I mean, it's just like, we had to learn. I had to learn the rules also. So I try to be like, that person just doesn't know the rules. And right now, with their sloshing their red wine around, is not the time to try to say boundaries.
No.
It just doesn't work. So I just leave. But I try to keep in my mind, it is hard to have compassion.
Certainly.
But I try to remember in my mind when I was young and we were all randy and we would all be backstage drinking after a show and maybe lines were crossed that are just not acceptable now.
Yes.
And I like that. I like coming into that awareness that it's not acceptable and just don't do it again.
No,
you
for
know, but
sure.
I mean, honestly, testicles are sensitive and it's not a compliment. Cash in hand is a compliment. Or I would just say, you come up with little things like, I would say, oh, the shoulder is a safe place to touch someone you don't know.
Yeah, that's about as gentle a way of you could deal with it in that moment. Because you're right, it's not a learning
people
moment.
People just walk up to you and squeeze your nipples.
Oh
They
my
just
God.
walk up to you and squeeze your nipples. So for me, my experience is mostly exclusively with women, but I have learned that I need to step away because I'm the man in the situation. Like, I don't really care. I just want to get out of the situation. But it's like, I mean, I have had the police called on me after trying to defend myself.
Where did that happen?
So,
was that here? Or?
No. Yeah, I mean, it was in America. But I mean, I have also, there are people who are going to hear this podcast are going to be like, yeah, Bunny, but remember that one time when you crossed the line? I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I really feel like I have to look at this behavior the way I look at my own behavior and my own impulses, like do not touch or shoulder. Shoulder.
You're a very understanding and compassionate person. I just want to step back to one of our drunken moments of careless youth. And I know this it's terrible, but it was hilarious at the time. We were at South Paul. It was the New York Burlesque Festival. Me, you, my sister, and Jen Gapay were doing tequila shots at the bar.
Oh.
Somehow you stripped out of your unitard.
Yes.
And then my sister Taro, you guys were taking pictures and she was biting your thong. She had your thong in her mouth and we did this whole photo shoot. That was insanity.
Thank you. Listen, I don't drink anymore. I haven't had a drink in 1 year and 3 months.
Wow.
And, I'm very happy to have a nice big collection of blackmail behind me. Things I've seen, places I've gone crazy out of my mind.
It's hard though in the nightlife culture, I think, drinking just becomes so part of the day, your night, your show. It's like part of your ritual of getting ready and being backstage, and it kind of just works itself in a little too comfortably sometimes, don't you think?
Well, it depends how far you go. And Buns took it far.
It's easy. It's easy to
give me a car. Yeah, give me a hill and a car with no brakes. I mean, I was definitely a thrill type, a T-type person,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to say, like, it depends. I don't know if you want a big rag on sobriety, but I'm happy. It was a great gift. It was a great decision. And I had to go through the fire of it wasn't so much the alcohol. It was the culture, like what you were just talking about. It was the culture of drinking and show business with like a rocks glass. Like, how do we know we're fancy if we're not holding up a glass of champagne into the camera? Like, So I had to learn, and I really told people I was working with, I'm like, you guys, I know I'm an asshole, but I've stopped drinking. So just hang with me like I'm going to be a freak,
Was it hard? Was it hard to get on stage? Because I know I have had to check myself over the years because, you work like 7 days in a row. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have drank 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
And now I feel like, when I get to a club, I'm like, excuse me, I need my red wine before I get on stage. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I need red wine before I get on stage? No, I don't. So I have to check myself sometimes. But was it hard for you to get on stage and be the bunny without, the booze?
Without a half a liter of Jägermeister flowing through me already, so I could pick up that microphone and go, penis, fuck you.
Yes. How was that experience?
I would say that it was difficult, but there are things in your life that you do that are difficult. And then after you do them, you think to yourself, what was all the fuss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was all the fuss? So this thing that was complicated before, when you look back at it, you're like, oh, it's so easy. It was just the simplest thing. So, But I did it the right way. I got support and I had meetings and the whole thing. And I don't know, it's just normal life. Like I know that I can never drink again. And as soon as I got that through my head, I really it was easy. It was so much more fun actually to go get dressed, and I could actually be part of the actual excitement and energy of performing on stage live
Wow.
rather than having some wine or whiskey backstage to loosen up. Like I would go up there with my eyes wide open and like roar,
No, it's fun.
So,
And then you remember it all and you don't wake up feeling like absolute caca.
well, that's the thing is that it depends on your level. But for me and anybody listening out there who's wondering, for me, it was that I was the person that left the house to go perform and make money was not the hairy tongued, dried out beast that woke up 3 days later wondering what happened. So I kind of got into a bad cycle of like, it's hard to really say, but I would meet myself. I would go out, perform, do the thing, and then I would be a stranger. I'd be like, how did this happen? Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
kept chasing
No,
myself.
for sure.
I could have left myself notes like, dear drunk self, remember
Oh,
you, like it's kind of got like a split personality for me. And then somebody said, well, or a book I read that was given to me said, well, how are you supposed to know who you really are if you're always moving between these two extremes?
yeah.
So that was my goal. Abstinence was my goal. And then I got my sober friends,
Yes.
and all my friends and everybody in my world was super supportive. And then it just became normal life. And, I'm a seeker, I'm a truth seeker. And also, I have to say, like, you know, at my age, in my stage of life, I became vegan almost 3 years ago. And I thought to myself, how am I supposed to, like, there's no such thing as fair trade cocaine. You
Yeah.
know that, Angie?
Absolutely. No, I know. I know. Yeah. Everything has a
So,
price.
right. So if I want to go out there and be the gay Avenger and talk about freedom and rights and diversity and whatever, and then fucking go balls out on 200 euros worth of cocaine, like it doesn't work.
No.
So
The
yeah,
scale has tipped.
yeah, I have to say that getting sober, and I with pride, every time I come out about it, it's like yes, just do it. But
Yeah.
it's like getting clean and sober really was a great decision. But now it's just kind of boring. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, where's the apple juice? I'm like a 4-year-old. Like me and sis, we could probably scream. Like I go over to my friend Henry's house. He's 5. And we drink apple juice with soda water in it, and we are just
Oh,
freaking
I
out.
love it.
Yeah.
That's so
Like,
good.
give me an orange soda and the kids, let's dance,
You would get along well with sis. I have to send you that painting. You remember that painting she did of you? She did a big blue I'm going to mail that to you. But don't you think your sobriety, like where we are right now in the world with Corona and everything going on, you've been able to transition so wonderfully into the technological world and the green screen and the video and the recording. Like your edges are sharp. You're game on. You've got your focus. You're all in. I mean, that has to play a part in that as well.
It never would have, people say to me, oh, look at that thing. And I'm like, that's sobriety.
Yeah.
Like I've been a little bit of an annoying sober person. Like, Scotty, people say, Scotty, you're so smart. Like doing something on the fly at a gig, something goes wrong, just doing the thing.
Yeah.
Be like, oh my God, you're so smart. I'm like, no, I'm sober.
Yeah. Right. You can
like, but the truth is, I don't think I would be, if I was still doing what I was doing and the pandemic hit, it would be a mess.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, she would be a mess. Terrible. Look, I have kids in my life. I have 4 nieces and 2 nephews. I dress like a bunny. I want them to remember their uncle, like not as the mess. I didn't want to I don't know. I just got to thinking.
I hear you. I hear you. No.
The house was a mess. My clothes were a mess. My job was all fucked up. I really was like, I was at a level. So I just said, okay, girl.
Yeah. We're cute when we're 21 and like riding around downtown and hopping from club to club and being all wild. But there's a time.
Yeah, and I have to say, for anybody else who's listening, who's wondering how they are supposed to get on stage without a glass of wine, or how they're not supposed to have it in their life, but even cigarettes, like when we started in show business, Angie, you could smoke inside.
Oh, I remember sitting at the bar with cigarettes. I would stink so bad. My wigs would smell. I'd be smoking our faces off in there. It was the vibe.
Smoking and drinking was it. I have a video. Somebody posted a video of me singing "Our Day Will Come" at the Slipper Room. Like, I'm smoking on stage.
Wow. What a time.
Yeah, totally. So I just think like now I am really, my relationship with my violin is a lot better.
Yeah.
I am doing technically advanced stuff, and it wouldn't be that way.
No,
it would be like, where is he? Have you seen him? We haven't heard from him.
Right. No, and we don't want that. We need to hear from the bunny.
No, listen, I'm Scotty the Blue Bunny.
Yes.
I have to figure out how this ends, We were in the burlesque community. This is a multi-generational community. We see how it goes if you don't. Sorry, it goes both ways. You can either take care of yourself or not. And we see the way this goes. Like my gay, queer nightlife generation, we lost a whole generation to the AIDS crisis. So these burlesque legends, like they're the generation of older, self-made, independent rock star performers that we have. And you see what happens when you don't take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Even a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, drink a little water, honey.
Mm-hmm. Go for a walk. Try something green.
Yeah.
No,
Right, broccoli.
Yeah, you've made big changes in your life. Vegan, not drinking, moving to Berlin from New York. That's a huge
8 years.
8 years. I remember when you left, it was shocking because you're such a part of the New York infrastructure.
I went to the airport from the burlesque festival.
It's insanity. How was that a hard decision?
8 years later.
Was it were you so thrilled to do it that it made it less hard, or were you asking yourself after, you did the festival and get in a little taxi and go to the airport, were you in it or?
It's really funny. It's really funny because 8 years later, I'm still asking myself, what am I doing?
What are you doing?
What am I doing? It's a very funny question because the truth is my apartment, I have to move in May. My apartment situation is ending here, and it's kind of like tossing the chessboard a little bit. Like, this apartment is the only place I've lived for 6 years. The last address I had this long was on Washington Avenue between Fulton and Atlantic.
Wow. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so it's what am I going to do, Angie Pontani?
Would you ever come back here?
What? No, I don't know. That's the thing. I'm like, I could, because I'm American. I could just show up in Tucson, Arizona at my Republican parents' house. No. She'll relapse.
Okay. But you could show up here.
Don't know. Could I?
Yeah,
I wonder about that. I'm so close to getting my German passport. I've just gone on in this process. I'm a permanent resident here. I have my beautiful social democratic health insurance. If I need an MRI, I can just go get an MRI. I don't have to call Cigna and get it pre-approved. I just get my little piece of paper. I show up. The girl straps me in, puts the headphones on, pushes the button. She runs out, comes back 10 minutes later, said, "Oh, you have water on the knee. Have a nice day."
Yeah, easy peasy.
Can't sleep at night. If I go to the doctor and she says, "Are you sleeping well?" And I say, "Are you living in the same world I am?" She said, "Here's the big box. Take the big box of Ambiens. Have a nice day. You're supposed to cut them in half." So, but yeah, I just need to find a new place to live.
Oh, you're an adventurer. I mean, I can't imagine you move to another country, your host shows in another language. That's always crazy to
Mm,
me. I'm like, that has to be so hard to get to that
well, it's
stage.
mixed.
I mean, it's
It's
amazing.
Yeah, but Berlin is an international city, and there are, because of its second life after the war, when it was divided in so many pieces, French, Russian, German, American, British, the whole thing. It's so international here, you want to
Yeah.
choke. Like, you hear Spanish on the street, you hear Turkish on the street, there's English, there's Australians yawn and on and on and on, and then there's the Americans really
Of
loud,
course.
getting shushed all the time, and then there's a huge African community here. So, like, across the street from me, we had a Nelson Mandela
Oh,
restaurant,
wow.
and yeah, it's totally diverse and crazy. So it's like that scene from Star Trek when the bum 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 ba bum
Yes. At the bar. Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I walk down the street and I'm like, wow, I thought I moved to
Yeah.
Germany, but I didn't. Like, this is why people call Berlin the New York of Europe, because it's so, like, where are you from
Yeah.
is this huge question. Like, where are you from? Everyone's asking, where are you from? Afghanistan. I signed up for German school. The guy,
It's great,
the
though.
guy, the guy registering me for German school was from Afghanistan,
Yeah. That's crazy.
and we're speaking
I
German.
love
German
that.
is yeah. So it's like, wild.
I love it. But what do you miss about New York? Like, if you had to, besides me, I mean,
Right. You? Well, I don't know. Just sometimes when I see Julie, Dirty, Bob,
Yeah.
I just remember that whole, I don't know, I go back there in my mind. Like, I am of a certain age, and the people that my good friends in Berlin, they know me 6 years, 7 years, but those people, they know me, 40
Yeah,
years.
for sure.
Like, I was there when Dirty Martini did the balloon number the first time.
Yeah.
I used to work with Bob, world famous Bob, at Robots. She would be standing on the platform, go-go dancing, eating a Big Mac and a Whopper,
Oh my God.
right? She would do her burger aerobics thing, and then with
Yes.
mayonnaise dripping on her tits, and I would be getting ready to go eat fire in the basement at 4 a.m.
So crazy. It's a
So I
history.
would have to say, yeah, I would have to say that I kind of I miss that. I can't wait for, like, the pensioners on parade burlesque revival show. Like, no one under
Yeah.
50 is in the show, and it's me, Dirty. Tigger got there first.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's going to be a fun
So
show.
sometimes yeah, but everybody has their own life now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. But did you
So
kind of
yeah,
wish?
I'm German.
Yeah, you are. You
I'm
fully.
gonna stay German. It's a great, our president is a physicist.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah. So, but I'm just so relieved that we even have I've been so tired. I just needed to sleep the last couple of days ever since that election. I
Yeah.
was like,
But did you kind of wish that you could be here dancing in the streets when they called Biden Harris?
I was helping my neighbor plug in her stereo. And then the other neighbor, Birgit, called from upstairs, and she has a very strong German accent. And in German, I heard it come through the phone. Did you hear my message? And then my neighbor said, no. And she said, 270, what was it, 274?
Yeah, something like that. It's growing.
Yeah, so all of a sudden I heard, 274 for Biden. And I was like, what? And then my neighbor Helga started dancing. She was like, woohoo, Biden won. And I stood up. I went in her kitchen. I took a soup pot and a ladle off the wall, and I ran outside. I was like, bang, 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 bang.
Yes. Yes. We ran outside and started dancing.
Yeah, like, I know it was a lot of fun to be with other people, but it was also kind of fun to be the maniac on my street with my Biden Harris t-shirt, banging a sauce pot with a stainless steel ladle, being like, Trump is gone.
Yes.
Trump is gone.
Goodbye. There's a lot of rejoicing happening all over the world.
Yes, and then I went over to my friend's house, an American friend's house, and we got the kids and I got vegan donuts and I had a big sparkler and we went out on the balcony and we danced to YMCA,
Yes.
reclaiming my time, release the Maxine,
Yes,
you
yes.
know.
Oh, that's
It
exciting.
was good. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever live in New York again. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a big
to
one.
just
No, but you'll
crash
come
land
back
back in there.
once we can have shows again. We'll have the burlesque festival, and you'll come back for that as you must.
That was tough, wasn't
Oh
it?
yeah,
That sucked.
it's just my feeling about everything right now is like I just kind of expect everything to suck moderately, and I try not to get too upset about it. Like I've had 8 months, as I'm sure you have, and everybody else, of getting okay. This is going to happen now. This is not going to happen. This is going to happen now. This is not going to happen. So by the time it came to the festival, I was like, I don't want to work on anything this massive that I know is not going to happen. Everything is so out of our control, which as a control freak is really challenging. But I get by.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, this is not my first pandemic.
Yeah.
And the last one was not even airborne. I mean, was it so surprising how Republicans are doing with the pandemic, considering how they were with the last one? I mean, so I don't know. Personally, for me, I just kind of like clicked into condom mode. I was like, oh, mask time, like, and act up and all this other shit. So for me, it was also like, whoa, I really realized exactly how traumatized I was from the AIDS crisis growing up in New York and coming out and coming of age in New York in 1980s. I went to Baruch College on Lexington Avenue. We used to go to every bar. There were condoms on the bar. There were posters of organizations on the back of the bar door on 2nd Avenue and 2nd and First, whatever. So yeah, I think I discovered, like, my big catchphrase for the pandemic is congratulations, you're traumatized. Like, what happened to all that bread? What happened to all that bread?
I ate it all.
Yeah. Congratulations, you're traumatized.
Oh, please. I literally spent days in my kitchen just eating loaves of bread. I was like, oh, this is it right now. This is it. Scotty, I want to ask you about your project, Love Gay People, your photography project, because you do that as well. Tell me about that. Oh, there it is right there.
Well, behind me on the wall here is Needles Jones. Aww. Taken in Berlin when Earl Dax brought Tingle Tangle Club to Berlin. I snapped a photo. When I first moved to Berlin was when that scourge of in Russia, Chechnya, they were rounding up the gay people and stuff. So I just thought that I would hear about things going on, how gay people were oppressed, while I would be getting ready for a show. So I thought, how bizarre is that I can travel all over the world for so long to do absolutely nothing and be applauded for being the best faggot I can be. Like, I am up there minstrelling my gay identity hard, you know, and people are loving it. They're buying postcards, Meanwhile, at the same time, people are just being removed from their families, thrown into a jail cell. So I just thought, for me, I wanted to somehow show that there is a world of people who are so visible. I just wanted to show that juxtaposition. So I started photographing all the gay performers that I worked with this pink triangle prop against a black background. And and all the headlines used to be like, gay people tortured. I just wanted to do the reverse, love gay people. But also the pink triangle is a very famous symbol from the Holocaust. It was sewn onto the uniforms. So I just started doing that. And then I just had a couple of exhibitions and I might have another one. I'm waiting to hear back.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, I haven't taken photographs, but it's just this thing, like these projects, like take the picture, then do the photo editing, and then I don't know. I kind of got I kind of burnt out on it a little bit.
Would you ever
And
display them
the
all,
goal,
like online? Would you ever create an online gallery with everything?
there is an online at www.lovegaypeople.com.
Oh,
There is a portrait. Yes, there is a portrait sanctuary you can look through and see all the portraits. And the goal was to make a book. But then also what happened was this conversation around queerness. I don't know. I kind of felt like love gay people. I don't know. I needed to figure out how to reposition the project in the current dialogue.
right.
So, was I queer? Was I gay? Do all the people in the series have to be gay?
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
for me, and people would get offended. Like, I'm totally straight up. Like, if I asked someone, would you identify as gay? They would roll their eyes and suck their teeth at me because we're queer now.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that exactly.
Yeah, but it's good that you're thinking about it and trying to find a way to do
Yeah.
it so that everyone feels included
Yeah.
in proper representation.
Yeah, because then I would have to say that for the historical purposes, the models in the project needed to identify as gay because that's the symbol and that's usually the frontline assault, like in Turkey when they wouldn't have a gay pride parade and all this other stuff. So I just thought, yeah, it's there, but all of a sudden it felt outdated to me, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like I could very easily change it to love queer people. Like I'm trying to grow into this queer thing because it doesn't really. I'm gay. I'm 54.
Yeah.
I remember G. Then I remember LG. Then I remember LGBT.
Yeah.
Then it was LGBTQ plus. Like that's great. And I try to keep young people around me, you know,
For sure.
young mentors that are not my age. I try to have mentors that are half my age.
It's smart.
And it's like really sometimes they're like, it's queer.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's just like, oh, right. Not that gay is over, but it's more diverse in a way. I don't know. I'm revisiting it.
It's expansive.
We'll see. But I have 100 portraits and everybody is in there. Even there's some celebs. And it was so sad because had started talking to Satan's Angel about her trying to I wanted her to write the foreword. Like that is really like a big life regret, is that I just got caught up in my life. She had crazy times at the end of hers and we kind of lost touch and it's all my fault. And I really wish I got a statement from her about what it was like to be I'm a lesbian, you know. She really, everywhere she went, when the Helsinki or the Vienna Festival, when she came up on stage, Satan's Angel, she would take that mic and she would be like, I'm a lesbian, really. And I just wish I had a statement, you know. We would talk about it a little bit. You know, I drove from my parents' house in Tucson, Arizona to Palm Springs to take her photograph for the project. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, she was amazing.
Yeah, that's the project. There it is.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll
love gay people,
grow with it and evolve with it and make it what it needs to be.
Well, now I'm focused on my YouTube channel and I'm trying to really get it all together. I've been taking violin lessons because I thought, if this lockdown, I was like, listen, Buns, here's the deal. You can buy all the toilet paper you want. You can, if you need to go to the supermarket and freak out for this lockdown, you can go, but make sure you swing by the music store and get yourself 2 sets of strings. You're practicing. Mm-hmm. And then I had this crazy idea to start taking lessons. That's awesome. How radical.
Yes, keep learning.
And I have this fabulous Finnish violin teacher, and she just is great. And I have a whole new relationship with this instrument that I've just been carrying around with me wherever I go. I've had a violin with me, but I never really.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so now my life is music, and I'm playing the ukulele, and just trying to get a new video camera and figure out the green screening and looking at new software and stuff. But it's a lot.
I know it is a lot, but it's good for your brain.
Biden had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said it's good for your brain, like the learning all these new different things. So your YouTube channel, what is it? Where can people go and find you?
It's on YouTube. It's Scotty the Blue Bunny, and I have my classical music adjacent a show called Beautiful Music with Scotty the Blue Bunny. And I just thought to myself, if I'm this weirdo who plays like remedial intermediate violin, this classical instrument, string whore, Chi-Chi. I played once at a show Chi-Chi Valenti did, and she said, I'm a string whore. And I
love
was like,
Chi-Chi.
if there's, yeah, exactly. And I thought if there must be other characters out there that might have a bassoon or a piccolo, a flute or whatever that play their instrument, but what they do on stage, it doesn't really call for them to use their instrument. So they're just maybe bring it out once in a while. So it was great. Like I got the last episode before Halloween. I mean, Armin Ra. Do you know Armin Ra?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got Armin Ra. I was thinking to myself, oh, it's Halloween. Theremin, Armin Ra. And I reached out, and he was in the middle of a Kickstarter for his big project. So he gave me a video. So that was great. And before that, I got Reverend Mother Flash and Cassie Watson from New Orleans. But I know Reverend Flash from New York, and she plays her cello. And I saw her in the other guy's show. I can't remember the name right now.
That's exciting, though. That's really great.
Yeah. So reconnecting with people who are like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I'm like, she plays cello.
That's fun. And you're bringing everybody together and providing entertainment that people can safely watch right now.
She has a friend that plays the harp.
Oh, that's sick.
Exactly. Like, oh, okay, so this is happening. And then it was really funny because it wasn't really funny, but I had put the call out at the beginning of lockdown. It was so stressful that whole March, and I just was whatever. And then all of a sudden people were like, I've got that video for you. Like it was rolled out. So then I just said, great, I'm all set up. I've got a 4-foot by 10-foot green screen fabric. I've got all my video lights, and I just sit here and bug out the neighbors playing La Vie en Rose over and over and over again until I get it right.
I love it. Well, I'm going to go over to your YouTube channel after this and check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called Beautiful Music with Scotty the Blue Bunny and very special friends.
It sounds ripe for cable access.
I know, right? Robin Bird.
The old days. It sounds so good. Scotty, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Love to see you. Virtual hugs. Hugs to everybody. You're the best.
And that was my chat with Scotty the Blue Bunny. I love that bunny. He spreads joy like Nutella on hot, fresh bread. Follow Scotty to keep up with all his amazing projects on stage, behind the camera, and making music at Scotty Bunny on Instagram, where you can find links to his YouTube and every other good thing that he's working on via the link in his bio. I'm over here waiting for you at Angie Pontani on IG, so come and see me. And until next time, I wish you love, happiness, and health. Meet me backstage next week on The Bump and Grind, where I'll be serving up a sizzling new show. And don't forget, review us, toss us 5 stars, tell your friends to listen, leave us some love so we can stay here and keep on doing what we do, bringing the burlesque to you.
This has been a Giant Panda King production. You can find us at giantpandaking.com and on Instagram at giantpandaking.